G'day, guys. Welcome back to Season 3, Episode 5 of the SuperCoach Swordplay podcast. Hope you all had a ripper of a week. As usual, I'm here with two absolute legends. Janath, how are you going, my friend? Carlton had a pretty solid win on the weekend, mate. How you going, mate? What's happening?
Not much, mate. I'm recording from work today, so it's a one-off. Post-work, though, must make that clear. Yeah, the Blues got a big win on Saturday, and we're quietly looking forward to Friday night's game, where I think us boys will be linking up. Carlton, Brisbane. Supercoach-wise, I'd say I'm happy with how it's progressing up to 4.6K now. 23-44 round score. Was pretty happy. VC Marshall. Hope the listeners from last week were listening into our little chat that we had. So go Rowan. That last quarter. What a legend. The holding the balls and the kick forwards, the hack kick forwards, the hit outs to advantage. Absolutely dominated Teakle around the ground and Finlay. So I didn't know Teakle played the last quarter. Didn't see him. But yeah, happy to be moving up into 4.6K, onwards and upwards from here, like yourself, DR and Spills. How are you looking, mate?
Not Spills. Sorry,
yeah,
go, mate.
Yeah, not too great, boys. I only went down about 200 spots. So, real par week, 2,220. Ranked to the 32K still, top 40% overall. I'm going for leagues this year. I think there's about 6 blokes in my team currently that look like they're not going to play this week, or they're a chance to, like Darcy, Laird, Zeeble, LDU. I know there's any others, but then there's the likes of Stewart and Dacos who could be facing Keys and Clark tags coming into this week. So my smoky VC on Stewart's just about a bust. So, really don't know what to do this week, but I want to get as many premiums in my team and target a D7 and F7 by the end of the year. So regardless, I don't think I'll be doing any sort of sideways trades or anything like that. I don't care about the short-term pain because it's all about that long-term gain, lads. So, completely changed my mindset with Supercoach this year ever since Took went down. So we'll see how we go, though. It's good to have a different sort of perspective on things.
You do seem a little bit more relaxed, I must admit now, mate. I seem to be enjoying the game a little bit more, which is good.
Yeah.
Look, myself, still heading up. So I just got the phone out here, 23-22. Season rank now 16K. So look, I didn't think I'd make the top 20K by the end of the year after the first couple of weeks. So I certainly can't complain there. 21 trades left after this week, as well as the 3 boosts. So I'm glad I've got a few boosts still up the sleeve, because I think they'll come in really handy, particularly during the buys. That might be a completely different discussion. We may even get together, boys. I know that Freo Tragic, Dan, was pretty keen to actually get together and do some sort of a buys potty, maybe just for half an hour, and dig right into it. So it might be something we'll get into in the next couple of weeks anyway, boys. But look, we want to get this one under an hour today. We're aiming for about 50 minutes today, because I've got a habit of banging on for hours and hours, because we just love talking Supercoach, obviously. So I'm going to try my best to stick to time. So we are going to skip a couple of segments this week, and I'm going to get straight into my rant. Now, boys, this one isn't necessarily Supercoach related, and I was going to bust this one out last week, but I thought, I don't want to really have a dig at one of my lines, boys. But I was speaking to Spills during the week, and he said, no, you need to give this guy a bit of a public rocket for what he's done. So, look, here we go, boys. So here we go. So, you know that I was at Canberra, obviously, the week before, watched the Brisbane Lions game up there against the Giants, obviously. And we got to the game probably about an hour and a half before it started. The boys wanted to watch some of the guys warm up. So, hopefully get a couple of signatures on the jumper, bought a couple of cards up. So first of all, it was Lockie Whitfield. I tell you what, the warm-up that this bloke had, I'd be absolutely stuffed. I don't know how he'd play a game after that. He's a machine, that bloke. His endurance is just phenomenal. So he was doing laps and laps. Hogan comes out, doing a bit of skills work and all the rest. And then all the Lions boys come out. So the first bloke to come right up to us was the Rising Star winner and Goal of the Year winner. How was that goal, boys? How was that goal? I know we need to stick to time, right? But anyway, so Ashcroft came down, said g'day to everyone there, signed a few of the kids' jumpers, all the rest. Maxie was absolutely wrapped. JL was a sub that day. So, look, he probably wouldn't have been feeling great. An absolute mainstay in the best 22 last year until his groins went. And now he's a sub. So he's not feeling great probably about the game. He comes down, big smile on his face, signs the boys things, has a bit of a chat. Awesome. And then Eric Hipwood comes down. Now, mind you, the reason why he came down, there wasn't anyone kicking the footballs back at this stage. And he was about 40 straight in front and completely shanked it right out on the full, right? We were sitting on the other bit of the step. He comes right up. I could have touched the bloke. And my middle fella, Max, said very politely, "Hi, Eric, would you be able to sign my jumper, please?" Eric Hipwood could have grabbed the texter, could have grabbed the Sharpie, 5-second job. This is a 5-second operation for a big fan, for a little fella, 11-year-old. What does Hipwood say? "No, sorry, mate. Maybe after the game." Maybe after the game. Eric couldn't take 5 seconds
Fuck me.
to sign Max's jumper. Now, I'll tell you what, if the rising star and future Brownlow medalist, if it's good enough for him to come up to the kids and have a signature, Eric, you should feel privileged that we're even asking you, mate, because let's be honest, you've been playing some pretty ordinary football. And so I'm going to give a bit of a dig here, boys, and, block your ears, kids. And this may be a bit of a harsh call. I'm going to do a power of three, we call this at school, a power of three. So, Eric Hipwood, I'm giving you an absolute rocket, mate. Shit kick, shit haircut, and a shit bloke. So, Eric Hipwood, not happy. I love all of my Brisbane boys, but unfortunately, mate, you have taken a bit of a step down the ladder. And next time we see you, I'm hoping for a big response. I don't know, a selfie, something, mate. You've got to do something pretty special next time because I was very disappointed, Eric. Even Alistair Lynch, the great Lynch, we were talking Fitzroy before the game and all that. He's setting up for his broadcasting duties, but he had 5 minutes to chat with an old Roy Boy fan. So, Eric Hipwood, lift your game, mate. Rant over, boys. Rant over. But,
as his punishment, he should be dropped for this week. I reckon that's a good punishment.
That's dropping. We've already got Joe that's
against the
Blues. That can kick it out as full as well as he can. Get him out for the Blues. You reckon, Janath? Yeah. Oh, we'll get him put out. You can just rest Charlie for the week, mate. How does that sound? Fair. Far from.
That's shocking.
Mate.
That is awful, though.
It is what it is, right? At least we got Ashcroft. And the funny thing is, right, there was this other bloke, and he's like, "Oh, Marcus, you're playing great, Marcus, rah, rah." And Will's obviously thinking, "Oh, it's me old man." And he just looked at me, gave me a bit of a wink. Polite enough not to even correct the man. He was just going with it. Yeah, cheers, man, all the rest. We're all having a bit of a laugh as well. But anyway, boys, that is a rant over Spills. We are going to get into your rookie review. And I tell you what, mate, you are really stepping it up this week, my friend, because we've got a bit of a visual spill. So we know that you're not really doing them on your channel at the moment. You're going to bring him to the SuperCoach Swordplay podcast. So a few names on the list here, mate. What can you tell us about the upcoming rookies, bud?
Well, for starters, how in depth do you want me to go? Do you want me to touch on everyone, or do you just want me to go on like the sort of 2 or 3 ones that are quite obvious for this week and people can just read them if they're interested?
I think we've got the visual there, mate. So maybe we might, because we are, trying to get through as quick as possible. So maybe just touch on who you think are the relevant ones possibly for this week. And I suppose the other ones there that aren't quite as relevant, people can get a pretty good idea of that visual that you got there, bud.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about it in the Q&A as well. Yeah,
for sure. Because, usually when I do one of these rookie reviews on my own channel, they go for about 10 minutes. So, it won't be that long. But, look, we'll start with one of your boys, Janath. So, Alex Sincotta, maybe you can add to this a little bit. I know his job security is at threat with Sam Doherty and those sort of prospects. But, obviously, 102K, the only one there that's 102K, which is just magnificent. Score of 88, still a 77 average, which we absolutely love. I think his durability is all right. And just, moderate job security on that Doherty factor and Cowan as well. There's just a couple that he's competing with. And honestly, boys, I loved his form over in the practice one against Sydney in particular. It definitely impressed me. The role's great. And I think he's someone that we can definitely field, if not run a loophole with you, like your McVee types or whoever he's still got in the back six. Via Chester or Constable. So Sincotta by the length of the Flemington straight, but there are a few more. Weddle obviously one that we'll speak about a little bit more next week. We'll just see if he can back up a little bit better than a 33. Ryan Angwin, he's one that's on the bubble. Do you trade him in this week? Can you use a boost? I think will be one of the main questions to go double down with Sin Cotter and Angwin. I'm not really sure. It depends on your structure. Like an average of 52 is not great. I think he's someone that we can definitely miss. But if you're looking for another rookie, he's probably your guy. He's got pretty handy DPP. Durability is pretty good from what I know. Job security is moderate. I've got their sub risk. I think if there was, because he's just so flexible, they sort of play him. I've looked at his what's it called? When you can see his tracker. I looked at his tracker. It seems to be predominantly on the wing. That's where I've got him as a role, but also that utility, like, seems to float around half forward, half back. So, and he's a rookie, so if they're going to sub anyone out, I think he's the highest chance. So I would be a little bit worried about that. And obviously, I've got a few more here. Bryn Teakle DR, did touch on him. He's one that I really like for draft. If you got a weak R2 in draft, I think Bryn Teakle's one you can look at. He should have, I think, good job security short term, but yeah, he's had a shocking run of injuries, the poor bloke, and who knows what happens when Lysette comes back in the team. Is Finlayson their R1? These are some questions that I'm unable to answer, but yeah, the role's pretty good. But honestly, in Classic, I'll definitely avoid him. And there's a few others here. Probably my third favourite here is Sam Sturt. I think they should play him a little bit more. Just didn't really set the world on fire. Did he get subbed out? I know George jumped on him.
He did.
Yeah, so
he did,
I probably
mate.
should have
He
got
did.
there. Yes, he's another one where I should have added like sub risk. But yeah, that's a bit unfortunate with his average there. So yeah, here's another one. I think Longmuir should definitely put games into him. And also, we'll touch quickly on Dylan Williams. He's playing a really good role off halfback, even though he has had a price rise. It's just a bit. It's one of those.
So annoying.
One of the biggest misses.
Isn't
It's
it?
not a miss. He was the sub. On his
yeah,
double game. You're like,
it got taken away.
He was the
I know.
biggest miss. He got taken away from us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
100%, man.
Yeah,
that's a real disappointing one. Like, obviously thought he's a sort of general key forward type, but they're playing him off half back, and he's intercepting and rebounding, playing one of the best rookie Supercoach roles going around. So if you have him, kudos to you. I don't think there would be many, but I think you can play him on field if he's not going to get subbed.
You would have had to go early.
You'd have to go early, absolutely. You would have to predict the future.
Yeah,
no
one in their right minds would have brought him in.
Yeah.
And I guess we could quickly touch on Sammy Simpson as well. I think he's already had a price change if he wasn't already.
So he started at 166K.
He did. Oh, that's right, because he played in
a couple of years ago. He played in the grand final, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. He looked good, boys. I watched him live, and he kicked the ball straight over my head there in the cheer squad. I think he got on it too, so he's a good finisher. But look, he's not one that I'd be keen to pay overs for. And 69 average is pretty good if you're a Geelong supporter, like a Shorty or something like that, and you believe in the pick. Yeah, I don't see why not. But sort of plays that general forward. The role's not great. Maybe he makes some cash on your bench, but other than that, there's not really much to touch on other than the fact that 22% plus are jumping on Sin Cotter, and as if you wouldn't. So, Janath, is there anything you'd like to add on to that, being a Carlton man, mate?
Yeah, so I've got one tidbit to add on 4 of these rookies just to help this discussion out. So with Chincotta, Doherty actually came back last week, Spills.
Yeah.
So the Doherty factor is completely out the window in terms of what the effect is on Chincotta. I guess the fact is that I said it in our preview DR about what Cowan would do. And the fact is that if Cowan got picked round 1, he was always going to get an extended period of time, and he got 6 weeks. And he couldn't perform the way that we would have wanted him to when Sard and Doherty were missing in respective games, especially in that St Kilda game when both of them were out. So I guess Chincotta took that opportunity, and in terms of job security, I think it's fair to say that that's going to be good now. As a mature ager, fits the profile in terms of the 22 we want to take as a finals contending team. With Angwin, Jacob Ware heard a tidbit from Adam Kingsley about the fact that Ware is behind Lockie Ash and Lockie Whitfield in defense. So they're trying him out as a winger in the VFL, and they see him debuting soon. So the effect of that on an Angwin type, because you're not replacing Callahan, so that will probably mean that if Angwin has a poor game, Ware may be the one to step up, who's a rookie that we want to come through the ranks because he's a bit of a ball hawk. So there's a tidbit on Angwin. On Simpson, the role general forward, I think it's a bit team dependent because I'd rather have a general forward for Geelong than a general forward for the Gold Coast Suns, for instance, right? Absolutely. Because the ball's going to be down with Geelong so much that I don't think the role is as bad as is made out to be. And the final thing with Teakle is Scott Lysette got injured in, I don't know, the SANFL. And I was listening to the great JB on the Dr. Supercoach podcast, and he thinks that Lysette's played that Lysette's played his last game for Port, and Teakle is the guy for the future. Sam Hayes, I don't know how they rate him because he's clearly not good enough if he's not getting the game before Teakle is, who was a mid-season draftee last year. So there's 4 tidbits on 4 different players, 2 positive. 3 positive: Teakle, Simpson, Chincotta. 1 negative in terms of Angwin.
That's good. That's why we love these
pretty much agree.
These rookie reviews in here, because we can bounce off each other. Because obviously,
exactly, mate.
I'm not going to get it all right. So like we can there's someone to sort of comment on.
You set the foundation, mate. This is
great,
brilliant.
Yeah.
Seriously, like the visual, brilliant.
Yeah. It takes so long, but it looks grouse. But
I was really surprised as well, Janath, when I heard JB say that. It sort of shocked me a little bit that Lysette, he must be looking terrible. It is what it is, I suppose. But look, as you said, I think before, by the length of the Flemington Straight spills, it's Mr. Alex. Is it Sin or Chin Cotter? Tell me, Sin or Chin?
I think I've got it right. I think it is Chin Cotter.
Is it?
Chin Cotter. I go from Sin to Chin. I don't know what I'm saying. I feel like Dr. Seuss when I'm calling his name.
I would like to think it's Chin Cotter. They did pronounce it actually on the Carlton Twitter. But I think I might bring it up later in the podcast so we can move on.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on. And Janath, we're going to take it. A look at your numbers, mate. The AFL triple doubles. Round 7. Got a few names here, mate. So take us through, Sledgy.
Big week, hey? So we had 5 triple doubles. So it's, for those counting along at home, we're up to 18. Now, I know early in the season I was posing, will we hit 20 for the season? Back-to-back weeks, we've had 5, which is incredible. But I'd see a common theme here with a couple of North Melbourne backmen and a lot of the Carlton Blues against West Coast. So we got Rowan Marshall, Jack Steele, Tom Green, Aaron Hall, and Harry Sheasel, all with triple doubles. Great stats all across the board, I'd say. Jack Steele and Rowan Marshall, absolute brilliant games. Just good to see them up and about. I saw Marshall hitting it down to Steele. You could see that connection there. But the stat line off the week has to go to Charlie Curnow. Come on now. 18 disposals, 14 marks, 9 goals, and 12 contested possessions. He got an honorary because he didn't quite hit 20 disposals. But if you kick 9 goals, I mean, does it really matter? Tom Hawkins had 13 disposals to 8. So I was like, Charlie just does Charlie things, hey?
He's in my team, Janath.
He is. I saw that. That was very good. Good draft pick up there. Should have seen him. They put Josh Rotham on him. How disrespectful.
Oh, come on.
That is so disrespectful.
I got no one else, to be fair.
Tom Barras, put him on him.
Exactly.
They put him
I'll
on
tell you
Harry,
what I'm liking. I'll tell you what I'm liking about those round 7 triple doubles. By the end of this round, I'll have all but one of those players in my side. So good to see some blokes in some good form. Very, very good to see. So I might have given away a bit of my trade plans there anyway. But good to see 5 up on the board, Janath. Yeah.
That's it. And then mate. I guess,
Rowan Marshall. Back to your call last week.
You're jumping on Aaron Hall, DR.
No.
Why not, mate? Yeah, why not? You know, Oh no, never
you're a
again,
gaming
mate.
man.
Look, he did wonders for me whenever it was a couple of years ago, but never again, mate. Nah, love the great man.
He's
though.
made of
Love
glass,
the great man, Hall.
made of paste or something.
Oh,
Shocking.
mate, isn't he? Janath, anything else, mate? You want to go through in regards to the numbers, bud, or?
I guess what this basically means is if you have anyone coming up against West Coast, super coach wise, you put the VC on him. Cough, cough, Tim Taranto. Let's go.
I'll tell you what, he's right up there for me now. With the likes of Stuart looking at Ben Key's tag, that spooked me. He was my VC. I was locking it in. But now, I think Timmy Taranto, I mean, he's going to ruin West Coast. I mean, they are so tanking. It's tanking Olympics for Harley Reid. Now they posted that. You know how they posted that picture on the AFL's page, like Jezza and Kerno in like a sprint, like an athlete's gear, like race to the Coleman. They should have done race to pick one. You know, the tanking. Who's going to get pick one first? Who's the worst team out of Hawthorn and West Coast? I think they're competing for the most shittest.
And
I think North. I think North have a little bit of hope, but I actually genuinely. Yeah, I think, that's the one. Yeah, I genuinely believe that Hawthorn and West Coast are tanking. They have to be. I mean, as you said, lock them on Kerno. Turn it up, Simpson. Turn it up. Give me a spell.
Oh, that's brilliant. That is
all right,
brilliant.
Boys. We are going very good for time, actually, here. 21 minutes, Janath. We're aiming for 20. I'm a minute off at the moment, mate. Okay, it's not too bad. Not too bad,
I feel like there's a bit to edit out at the start as well.
All right, beautiful. So we're probably at 20, mate. Absolutely fantastic. Well, here we go, boys. It is time to open up the mailbag. Now, haven't got the slides up this week. Just thought that I would go straight to the old Twitter screen and share that, boys. So got a few this week. Thank you very much to anyone that did leave a question. So the first one I've got here is one of my absolute favourites of all time. Let's be honest. It's Dazza, Daryl Hall. How are you, Daz? Thanks for tuning in, mate. I know you're always a great support each week, buddy. Hope you're well, mate. So, Dazza, left field pick, but thoughts on Will Powell? Great price, great buy, kick-ins, but can he keep up the scoring? Looking at every option that can save me cash or trades. Firstly, Daz, I think it's fantastic, mate, that you are looking everywhere because that's what we've got to do at the moment. Cash gen is a big, big concern. But, boys, thoughts on Will Powell?
No way.
Janath, you got any little nuggets of gold here, mate, or an opinion on whether or not it could actually work out?
I don't hate it. The heat map, which I'm a big proponent of because it shows how players tracking where they're getting the ball. He's covering out that whole D50. And his kick-ins coincide with Weller being moved into the midfield post-Hook getting injured. The concern I have, though, I know it's a very small sample size, but in 3 wins, he averages 113, and in 2 losses, he averages 84.5. I know a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about Mason Redman as an option, and he has this same issue where he's the perfect enigma, or he's the perfect enigma for how a team performs. So if he performs well, the team does well. If he doesn't perform well, the team doesn't perform well.
Yeah.
So if you see Gold Coast winning a lot of games from here on out, with that buy, I think it's a great pick. But otherwise, I don't know if you already have Will Day, I wouldn't be going Will Powell.
I was going to say
the fact is, you don't want your D5 and D6 locked into 2 guys that are speculative top 8 to 10 picks.
Yeah,
Spills?
good advice. Yeah.
Well, I can spec a little bit more on this because I jumped on him in draft after he went 102 in round 4, and then he served me up a 67, and then I pissed him off, and now he's gone 125, 143. But yeah, back on what you said, yeah, obviously Gold Coast in a win is beneficial for him. He can probably accumulate a little bit more. The role's pretty good, but when they are losing, they are really losing, and I think the inconsistency of scoring is going to really hurt you. And he would be a super pod. It's hard to see him. I don't know what his ownership is, but I feel like it would be hard to see him in more than 5% of teams. If not
it's
less.
nowhere near it, mate. I was doing
the
stock 297 teams.
I think it's under 300.
It
was under 300. Yeah. Massive pod, mate. Massive.
Wow. So if he's going under
Yeah.
70 again, like he has twice this year, that's gonna kill your overall rank. I mean, if you're playing for overall, that's the sort of shit that's gonna bring you undone. If you're playing for leagues like me, I think it's a bit different because you could probably flirt with him at D7 at the end of the season and run a loophole. Let's say Powell plays on a Saturday afternoon, you chuck the emergency on him, see how he goes, because he's a risky pick, and then, oh yeah, he's gone 120 again. Gold Coast had a great win on a sunny Saturday afternoon. You bank that with the Chesser. I wouldn't be confident to just straight up field him. I think I'm going to do that sort of strategy over the end of the season. I'm looking at Jezza or Kerno. If I can get them in around, I don't know, like mid to high 400k, because they generally play pretty early in the round, I would loophole them as a premium. And that's something that well, kudos to Ben from Insider, but he did that last year with Heaney. So it's not a coincidence that he finished, I think it was 77th overall. And I'm pretty sure that's why, because he was able to get the best of both worlds with the Primos. But yeah, Daryl, in terms of
not
how,
that much cash, man.
There's
not that much cash. I don't think you can plan to end the season with a D7 or an F7. With so many injuries, not as much cash as last year, it is going to be really tight. And I think that if you're planning on Will Powell, trading him in, he's going to be your D6 or D5.
Yeah.
What? Yeah.
Well, with the carnage, with the carnage.
No, go, mate. Yeah.
Yeah, because I am playing for leagues. Let's just say like Zeeble and LDU miss a couple of weeks. Like, I'm holding them. Like, I don't care about the short-term pain, as I said. Like, that's why I guess it's a bit different for me. Like, Powell's someone that I would almost, I don't know if I would go there, but that type of player late in the season, I wouldn't mind it because of that sort of loophole luxury that you can have. Like, I won't be sideways trading if there's carnage unless it's long term and they're going to be out for the season, because it doesn't affect, but it just depends where you're at.
Well, one thing I'll just quickly finish with and we'll move on to the next one. We talked about the fact that we want Gold Coast winning if he's going to be scoring well. Here's the next 6 opponents. Tell me how many wins you think they'll get. I can see maybe one win here myself. We've got Melbourne, West Coast, which is probably the win that I see. You got the Lions, the Dogs, Adelaide, and then Carlton.
Wow.
That's the next 6 weeks. So if we're looking at that trend, that scoring trend of wins equals more points, for the next 6 weeks, I can see one win there. I'm not writing him off in every game, but there's no obvious wins apart from that West Coast one, is there? So, look, for me, Daz, I think it's one of those picks. I don't know if it can necessarily make or break you, but it certainly could break you if it doesn't go really well. I don't know if I see enough upside there, to be honest, mate, for it to be worth the risk. So I'd be much more comfortable going up to a Sinclair type if you can. Yeah. But look, at the end of the day, mate, I love the fact that you're looking at every option that you can. And it looks like you're purely focusing on value, which I think is really important as well. So I'm definitely with you on your strategy, Daz. I don't know if he was a player for me, though, mate.
DR, could I just say one last thing? One last thing. Yeah, mate, yeah. I guess for anyone considering Powell, would you go him if he did not have the round 13 bye? Because that's probably the main reason, apart from value, that I am considering him as a smoky option. If he had any other bye, I would not be considering him at the moment. It's just because of the plethora of other options there.
Well, how many other Gold Coast or Geelong players have we got in our sides? There's probably your Tom Stewarts, your Jared Witts. Anderson. 2 Coners have dropped off now. Maybe a few Andersons here and there. Yeah. There's not going to be too many teams that,
it's a good buy
have
to target.
More than 2 of those. Yeah, that is a good point, Janath, and that's something I didn't necessarily think about, was that friendly buy. It's still probably not enough for me to go there personally. But again, if it works out, it's a terrific pick. We've seen his ceiling. He's got a nice role. Just a bit too risky for me. But Daz, if you want to go with your gut and go there, mate, go for it, and all the best of luck, my man. All right. Next one is from Phil Dev. G'day, Phil. This is a pretty simple one, boys. Sicily or Sinclair? I'll quickly jump in. I'm a Jack Sinclair fan.
Can I say the
think
obvious?
I prefer his role. I think Hardwick's not doing wonderful things for Sicily's scoring potential at the moment. Sinclair, he's scoring well in midfield, scoring well down back. I think now with Steele back, he will spend a lot more time in defence. That's where I want to see him. Got a really good draw coming up as well, playing North Melbourne this week. I could see him going an easy 130 myself this week. So I'm personally on the Sinclair train. Janath, any different thoughts on that, mate?
Yeah, I think that I'm on the Sinclair train as well. I think brought it up last week. St Kilda play 5 of their last 6 games of Marvel, and Jack Sinclair's gone above 100 in now 18 straight games there. So against North, he could do bad things against them. And just with Sicily, friendly matchup against the Bulldogs, who on the defense first position table give off about 6 or so more points on a player's average when they're playing them as a general defender, which Sicily was. So I think Sinclair for me, mate.
Awesome. Spills?
Yeah, it's a funny one because I was so hot on Sicily at start of season with Hardwick's obviously. I like Sinclair a lot better. And like really consistent. He's just been solid this year, and I only think he can go up. He's at probably the lowest he's going to be all season. Another thing is, depends if you have Day or not. If Phil has Day in his team, absolutely Sinclair by the length of the Flemington Straight yet again. But yeah, if you had to split hairs, probably Sinclair, but not by much, I don't think. But I like them both, but Sinclair probably just a little bit safer and not going to get hurt too bad. Rolls great, so very safe.
Again,
that one.
Consider the buy as well.
And the buy, yeah,
the earliest buy.
Yeah,
there may not be many players in that buy. Just depends.
It's a good
team
buy.
dependent.
It's a great buy.
Sicily, I think, has got the round 14, the one with Essendon and Melbourne, those kind of teams. Just have a think about that in terms of it's a 50-50. Normally, buys is what sort of just sways one way or the other.
Yep.
Good advice. All right, on to Chase Kuzma. Chase, thank you very much, buddy. Always comments on my videos, so he's a good man. Question is it worth boosting out a dead rookie to an Angwin Simpson to gain some more cash gen? Personally, boys, I think we've sort of touched on this in Spills' rookie review anyway. I don't think this is a good week to boost. I just don't. I think Cincotta is the really, really obvious pick. And if you're not going there, I think you're absolutely nuts. I think he's a must-have rookie. He is an absolute must-have rookie. With our cash gen at the moment, we're struggling so much. You've got to bring this man in. We've talked about Angwin, probably don't rate his job security, role, or scoring potential. Simpson, another thing I'll quickly add is with job security, you've also got Stengel coming back into the side. And I think that the time frame is about 1 to 3 weeks. So I'm not sure if he'll come straight in. Simpson goes straight out. I think Simpson can play a couple of different roles. Geelong are also a team that do have some older players, like your Danger and these types. They might want to rest them. There's a lot of contributing factors that come into play. Put it this way. If Simpson was at Angwin's price, I'd be pretty keen. And I'd be most likely trading Simpson in, to be quite honest. But the fact that he's at that 160 plus range, it's just too much to be spending on a rookie that we're not super confident on. You know, we're not talking an Ashcroft type pick or a Sheasel type that we're happy to pay up for. I just think it's a little bit too much. That's my thoughts, Janath. Anything different from you, mate?
Can I play devil's advocate here? So
absolutely.
Think about the rookies that we may be getting in the next couple of weeks. So if you've got 3 boosts left, I think of one way you could play a boost, which is something that I've sort of learned this year is way you could do it, is when you have an injury, to maintain that upgrade cadence, go 1 up, 1 down, sideways, you injured primo. So in that way, holding a boost is okay, but the general way we use it is 1 up, 2 down. So you're using 3 trades to get rid of 1 player. In a way, it's almost fool's gold because you're losing that extra trade to bring in another rookie. But my point that I want to sort of bring up here is we're not getting great rookies in the coming weeks. I can't see in the next couple of weeks, apart from Weddle, or if someone like a Ware debuts this week, of us getting good rookies. And the cash is going to dry up really quickly. So the round 3 juncture, we would have thought Cade Chandler was a bad rookie with poor job security, with Cozzy to come back in, with bad scoring potential, but half forwards in good teams that are not young players. Sam Simpson has been in the system for a while now. I think that Sam Simpson is a better pick than people are making it out to be. Angwin wouldn't boost for Angwin, but Sam Simpson, I know I'm personally considering, but it's not my bias here. I think that with Chandler, we saw what Chandler's doing right now. And if Simpson has that ability to maintain his spot with good performance and we don't have rookies coming up, I think this may be a better than it seems to be week to boost. But keen to hear your thoughts.
I'll pose a question to you, Janath. So let's just say, well, who's an example of a dead rookie? Do we say Matty Roberts, Chesser, a Constable,
Chesser?
if you got that?
Chester?
All right, so let's use Chesser as an
coming
example
back,
then.
apparently.
Is he?
Not
All right.
Well, they need him. They didn't
Let's
have
say
anyone else to
Constable
play.
then. We'll throw
Sorry,
Constable out there.
DR.
Whatever.
Sorry, DR, but Ralston.
Rested.
He's dead as a doornail.
See, I was trying to do the right thing early on and get rid of this dead rookie Chesser, and I'll pay up for roasting, right? And that was it. That was the point I just bloody hell. I don't even want to talk about it, right? But that was the point that I wanted to bring up, is that you're actually spending up like to go to a Simpson from, just say if it's from a Chesser or a Constable, you're spending what, 40K. That's the bit that makes it really difficult for me. And I agree completely with what you're saying, Janath, because we look at Weddle, who, let's be honest, has dicey job security at best, and he's at a slightly inflated price himself as well. Nothing like Simpson, but he's that little bit extra. You're right. It seems like a no-win situation, because you almost feel like you should boost this week because there's a couple of guys available. You look to the future, who is available? That's a big question. But the trouble is, the guys that are available, one, we don't like his job security or scoring potential, and the other one seems like a decent pick. But for this particular question, this scenario, you're getting out a dead rookie, and I don't think there are too many deads that you're even doing just a sideways or you're making any money on. I think with most of the dead ones, and you correct me if there's anyone that I'm not thinking about, you're actually paying up. So that's the only bit that I struggle with. And if you pay up to do that, let's just say he's out in a couple of weeks, Stengel's back in. Is he a sub risk? Your cash gen stuff? It's a really tricky one. I could see it is really working out well and absolutely burning in fire. So
let's put it this way. If you needed another rookie to bring in a boost, it is, in my opinion, it is Simpson. But the fact is, if you don't have the trades to get to full premium, then I would not be trading out a dead rookie for cash gen. It's that compromise that you're going to have to make. If you're going to run out of trades to get to full premium, I don't think you can use a trade trading out a dead rookie. If you have trades at the end, at the buys maybe, and you can do 2 up, 2 down with a boost in the buy, that may make more sense than something like this right now, where in the middle of upgrade season, you've got to be using your trades to upgrade, not upgrade your rookies, basically, in a way.
Spills, anything you want to add to that, mate, or on to the next one?
I think he's a good rookie if you're looking at him, but I wouldn't move mountains to get him. I don't think it's worth a boost, but if you've already got Sin Cotter, or I don't think many would, it's a tough one. I personally wouldn't go 2 down for him. I think other rookies will come. We're unaware of it. You got your starters types who are going to come back later in the season. Rookies come. They always pop out somehow. I mean, look at Hawthorn last week. They had like 3 or 4 bloody blokes on debut. So, we'll get rookies. We don't know who, but they'll come.
Staying positive, mate. Like to see it. All right. Just a fan. How are you, brother? He's asking, is Zeeble a must-have this year at F6/D6 with little cash gen, and at 490K, is he worth it? I might quickly start, boys. I think must-have is a pretty strong sort of a statement there. I don't think he's a must-have. I think he'd be nice to have. I think 490 is a friendly price point. However, he's under a bit of an injury cloud at the moment. I heard that plenty of fascia or something like that. So, look, mate, I think if Zeebel's fit and healthy, I personally wouldn't mind spending up 490 at the moment, because I think his keeper potential, he's got that good DPP status. You can loop him with Mitchell type to Sheasel. I think he's a really handy piece to my side. But given the fact that he's at that age, he's getting older now, and he's got that injury issue, I'd be a little bit concerned trading him in this week, mate. A healthy Zeeble I'd have a bit of a different opinion, but probably not this week for me, mate. Janath?
As a non-Zeeble owner, I've considered this even last week between Will Day and Jack Zeeble. I just think of how many of these guys can you really have? So when you have a Harry Sheasel, Errol Goulden types who are speculative premiums at best, really. And then we have the possibility of, I know the Herald Sun released an article yesterday about Sam Walsh. He's got 37% forward time through this season. I know we're 4 weeks away, so we can't plan too much. Max Gawn is above that threshold. Petrarca's at 32%. And if they're playing soft opponents for the next couple of weeks, they're not going to put him in the CBAs all that much. So I just don't want to lock in positions on my field, even with this cash problem right now. I think we look for value a bit too much in a way. You don't need to put value in every single one of the spots you have left, because the cash will come. It just depends when it will come. And so, especially under an injury cloud, I think it's too much. And you never know. Aaron Hall did look pretty good. Jack Zeeble did pick it up a bit with Melbourne absolutely dominating them. I don't know. I just think that if you got him at 356K, in your eyes is a keep right now. But if you're paying up 490 for him at that age with that injury, you have to be confident he can go 105.
Yeah.
Because you don't want a speculative premium or keeper.
Good call. You're a no, Spills?
Yeah, if you don't have him, I wouldn't get him in anyway. Like, it's a bit different for me. I got him in, obviously, for 350. So if the ship goes down, it's just whatever. I can cash out. But I would not pay up for him. We're going to get more DPP in the forward line, as you said, Janath. So there will be better options. Just jump on your cogs types. No, there will. Yeah. I think I'm pretty confident there will be. Like your cogs types the other week where it was like $4.99. I mean, what an absolute steal. So that's sort of those. Like wait for your fallen premiums to come down and chuck them in. Zeeble, not for me.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty. Causa, member of my channel, absolute legend is Causa. I love this man. What do you think of, Grundy to Marshall or Blitzarves? Well, Marshall smashed it, didn't he, against Port? We were expecting that. Janath just knew that. Blitzarves is an interesting one. I think Stanley's out at the moment. He can play everywhere. Great utility. I think he can score well in most positions he plays.
Conning's been used as a ruckman, though. So, I mean,
okay.
Yeah. So, De Conning actually went to 60% of CBAs or something, I think.
Wow.
Which is
actually, he was in the ruck a bit, wasn't he? Yeah.
He went to, let me get that exact figure. He went to
60%.
Draper. Yeah.
He smashed Draper.
CBAs was Sam De Conning, not Mark Blitzarves. He was the other 40%. Plus, he got his midfield CBA. So he's at the CBAs, but not your stereotypical ruck CBAs.
No, Blitzarves is a midfielder because he's in my draft. I watch him a little bit. He's like a big body midfielder half the time. Like he's always in the.
Well,
he's always in the stoppers.
You watch him a bit, Spills. Who are you going? Are you going Marshall over Blitzarves still, or you reckon Causa should go for a pod mate in Blitzarves?
Surprised he doesn't have Marshall. I haven't seen any team without him, unless you. Yeah. Oh, you missed that
might have
score.
Even got him out. I'm not sure.
Is there point chasing in it? I mean, it's. I think you have to.
I think you got to get Grundy out though.
I think Grundy's. He's
a must trade.
He's the sugar hit boy, isn't he? Like he's got to go.
He's a sugar hit. We said this right at the start. Remember that this is going to happen. You'd have to trade him out right at the optimal time. As soon as Max comes back, he's going to be affected. As soon as Maxi comes back, he's going to be affected. So all the planets had to align. Yeah. You would have had to have a ruckman that's, at a really low break even or something, but it's just not a good time at the moment to be picking up a ruckman. There's Shrek's got injury concerns. Witts has been underwhelming coming back from injury. It's really, for me.
I think we might have lost DR there.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we'll get him back shortly.
We will get
Janath.
him back.
I mean, I can add on this.
Yeah,
as well.
go for it, mate.
Yeah, so just to sum it up, Causa, I would go. I'd go Grundy to Marshall, and I'd go Fergus to Sinclair, 100%.
Of course.
And then Setterfield to probably Sinclair. That's what I would do. But
Yeah,
Anderson,
I can. Yeah,
great pod. I love the Anderson shout.
I think Anderson out of those three.
Yeah, great. He's got the best buy. Such a good.
He's
buy,
got the
man.
best. Such a good buy. Such a good player without Took as well. And I think that it's tough. It's Sinclair or Anderson for me. And in a way, Blitzarves isn't the worst pick at all. I think that
he's been so consistent in my draft team. Like he never goes under 80. Like he's just been really good. So I like him as a shout.
He's a very good shout. I'm just going to bring the Twitter up because we did lose DR's screen for a bit. So just bear with me.
Just read out the next question and hopefully, hopefully it comes back. I did this last week. It's been a shocking run of internet for that.
It has, mate. So we got Sam Simpson, Trapper worth a pick. I think we touched on this. I reckon he's worth a pick if he's one of your downgrade targets. He could be a trap, but I think he's more Cade Chandler than who's been a bad rookie for us, Matt Roberts type, let's say.
Yeah, I can go with that. Yeah. It's just a matter of if you're willing to pay up for him. That's all it is. I think he's a fine rookie.
Let's go to Supercoach Fangal's question, Ange. So is Tom Stewart a must-have now with his next three? So
no.
I think I might have it in front of me here. So his next three are Adelaide at GMHBA, Richmond at the MCG, and Fremantle at Optus. He's at 610K. I think he may just be a better pick than Dawson given the price difference this week. If you're going for a defender that is an uber defender, but do you just think that Stewart, a Sinclair or Sicily type, is just a better pick this week, Spills?
100%. So I've got Stewart, so I can comment here. If I don't have Stewart, I'm not paying 610 for a bloke who's going to come up against a Ben Keys tag. It's just it's not idiotic.
You think he's going to get tagged?
There's some real speculation. We saw what he did to Dacos. I mean, it is a funny one because they are playing at Geelong. Like I still think he's a great pick, but it has ruled out the VC completely for me. Yeah. And the value is that, like with Sinclair against North, went 140 on him last year. He's going to get so much junk. I just like that. And he's saving 70 or 80K doing that. So that's pretty simple for me. And Dawson's overs as well. We've got to wait for him to come back down now. But Stewart. And also at the MCG, pretty solid there. I think he's definitely going to hit a ton, but then not sure how he's going to go at Optus. It's not the best run of venues coming up.
Are you sure? I think Optus is his optimal. Optus or GMHBI is optimal grounds because the reason why I don't think Keys will be as effective against him as against Dacos is that they play different roles. Keys won't be able to shut down an intercepting defender as well as as much as a running defender because Dacos, right, most of his possessions are if you stop him from getting the ball, he won't score. But with Stewart, you're not going to you go up with him in the pack, but he's still going to mark the ball, right? I guess you can stop him playing as a loose man behind, but I don't think Stewart is as damaging by foot as a Dacos is, which is why that may not be it may not correlate exactly the same. But yes, do get your point. You don't see the value in Stewart. Yeah,
that's such a great point. I think there's no value, but there's no downside. I think he's worth 610. Like you pay 610, you're going to get 610 worth of scoring. I don't think he's going to go 140 plus, but I don't think he'll go under 100. Just so safe. I like him. I really do. But it's pretty hard to pass up Sinclair and Sicily at that price. I mean, especially Sinclair. I've locked him in easily, but I've got
all right. Well, different. Let's do some rapid fire spills. So I'm going to pose some things to you. Ollie Wines 406K. Yes or no?
No way. Can he even kick a footy? I haven't seen him hit a target since he's playing in Shuka.
Oh, that's rough. That's rough. But I think his CBA is on the decline. He only had 33% of the weekend.
Great. We love Ollie.
We do love Ollie around here, but I just think that better players with better roles, I think that's too much value searching for me.
Yeah.
We'll talk about this question from SuperCoacher. You can see this, Bills, by the way. Can you guys please touch on Ivan Soldo? What are your thoughts?
I haven't thought about him all season. What's his? Is he even best 22? Like, what's his price? I've got no idea. I have not thought of him once. I can't comment on that.
So Ivan Soldo, know that Abs Magic, the great man on Twitter and the YouTube community, he's talking up Ivan Soldo because he loves it. He loves going into the value bin per se. The
Definitely
fact is, I think he even rang up the club to see how far away Toby Nankervis
No,
is.
he didn't.
Yeah.
No, he didn't. No,
He did.
joking.
He did. Well, I don't know if he actually did, but
That's
he said
terrible.
he did. So we'll take his word for it. Ivan Soldo, I don't know. I don't think we got to be upgrading here. And I think that if you're looking for Ruckman downgrade so desperately, Bryn Teakle is just as good. And I don't think Lysett actually breaks into that team. So if you really wanted to go down low or downgrade to your R2, Teakle's the guy, basically.
For sure.
Alrighty, guys, let's finish off with our captains for the week. So, Janath, you were all over this, mate. Thank you very much, because I must admit, before you brought it up on the potty last week, I wasn't really looking at Rowan, but looking at his scoring history against Port Adelaide, 139.5 for a career average, if you don't mind. It was such a good pick, and you saved my week, mate. Much appreciated, buddy. I reckon you've saved me a few hundred rank spots with that great advice, buddy. But let's talk about our captains. So for me this week, I'm just getting up on my phone. I am going with the Tarantula as my VC. I didn't think that I'd be doing that this season, but what he's shown me the last couple of weeks is that he's actually got a ceiling, which is fantastic. And if we look, he's got, I think is it the second game that he's got? My internet's buggered at the moment. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
I can't
No
even
worries.
see.
Second
But
game, DR.
I think
He's
he's
got
got
the
the
second
earlier
game,
game as well.
Against West Coast.
There
at
you
the
go.
G.
Second game. That way I can use Madden as well. We've seen what teams have done to West Coast. So I think he's a pretty safe VC, to be honest. And I'm going with my backup option most weeks, and that's the Bont. So for me, Taranto into the Bont. If I had Clary, you'd look to go there probably. But unfortunately, I don't. So, Janath, how about yourself, mate? Who's in your plans for this week? And I'm going to be listening very, very carefully, and most likely copying you if I have the same player.
So I'm actually going to be VCing Tim Taranto as well. Back-to-back 140s coming up against West Coast. West Coast do give up more points on average to inside mids than a player's average, which is something that watchers off this channel know that I'm a big proponent of how a player comes up, the team the player comes up against. As the fallback option, I'm still not sure whether I'm trading in Clayton Oliver this week, but if I was, that's where I'd be going. Average is 131.6 against Gold Coast in 8 career matches. See, I think a high of like 175. Yep. And he's just a good matchup without Took as well, so I don't think he's going to get much attention per se. And I think this might actually be a danger game for Melbourne. We know we don't do our big calls, but Gold Coast at home isn't a very easy task for a lot of teams. So the game may actually be closer than some may think it could be. So if I'm not bringing in Clary, though, I think, as you said, the Bont is a great pick. He really does come up well against. Well, I guess he doesn't come up per se well against GWS. Not the highest career average, but rivalry game. And the Bulldogs really do need to just continue pushing up. And there's nothing to say that the Bont hasn't let us down in the past couple of weeks. I think it's a pretty safe pick there, mate. Spills?
Yeah.
Just on that, Janath, I've got a bit of my own sort of golden rule with SuperCoach, and I went against that a couple of weeks ago.
I know what this is.
But captaining blokes on debut in your team. Yeah,
Yep.
Did that with Tuke Miller, but he punished me, and I've done it in previous. I have done it in previous years, and I've never got it. I went and captained Josh Kelly against North last year, I think it was. Just trade him in, and he goes 107 off a Kane Turner tag. I mean, what are the odds of that? It's just unbelievable.
That's right.
It's one of those things. It is.
So I have it's a rule that I actually thought about it before I did it and went, nah, surely not. No, he's going off too. And then obviously at 40, he didn't go that bad. But yeah, I'm very iffy. If I trade in all of this week, which I'm absolutely not doing, but if I did, I would be scared of captaining him because it's Murphy's Law, boys. Like
it is.
It's gonna happen in one way or another.
For those playing FPL out there, it's like never back the early kickoff with your captain.
Yeah,
that is the analogy which we'd like to make. But yeah, I guess Spills, who is your VC and C this week?
Well, before I touch on that, obviously my internet cut out last week and I missed the brilliant discussion you guys had about Rowan. To be honest, he wasn't even on my radar and I had no idea or awareness by
had to be here, mate.
I had to be there for it. I was absolutely spewing with what happened. But, yeah, my original VC this week was meant to be Tommy Stewart, but with the tag threat of Ben Keys. But then, Janath, you touched on the fact that they play a different role, Stewart and Dacos, so it shouldn't affect him too much. But I think it's very safe to go Taranto. I mean, he's going to annihilate West Coast. It's pretty much inevitable. And a fullback, I don't know. It would have been Dacos, but then Clark might go to him. So how would you bloody know, boys? Maybe just, Taranto for Bont. Just stock standard, same as you, DR. But, so wouldn't copy the great man.
Yeah, pretty standard, I think.
And I think Dawson might copy the subs. That's the gut feel.
Yeah,
gut feel that Dawson gets.
Who knows? I might even get Jack Steele against the Roos coming in my side this week, Mr. Steele. Oh no, he's on debut. Can't do that.
Never debut.
Yeah, he's gone down.
That's right. No. Yeah,
I've got Dawson and Blitzarves in my draft. Don't say that, Janet. I've got Dawson and Blitzarves in my draft. If they play on each other, it's curtains for me, boys. Not the draft.
Hey, boys, I'll tell you what. I've just looked at the time here. We're under an hour. We are under an hour. Janath, I know that you've got to leave us, mate, because you're a busy man tonight. But very much looking forward to catching up with you two legends at the footy on Friday night, Carlton the Mighty Lions. Hey, guys, if you're going to go to the game, send us a message. Send us something on Twitter or Insta or wherever. And come and have a chat. Come and chat SuperCoach. And hopefully it's going to be an absolute ripper of a game. I reckon someone's going to get up by under a goal, Janath. Either way, I think it's going to be an absolute ripping game. But more importantly, I'm just looking forward to catching up with you two blokes. More than the footy anyway. That's what I'm looking forward to. And I think Big J's getting down. Maybe Jared with some bounce. Yeah, be a good night, boys. Be a good night. So
I'll bring the blood pressure tablets. I've got plenty of those as a Blues fan. As a Blues fan, have plenty of those.
May the best team win, mate. May the best team win. But guys, have a great week. I'll obviously catch you Friday. For everyone that's listening, thank you very much for tuning in. As always, my upload time, my internet is killing me at the moment, so this will be up as quick as it humanly can be. But thanks again for joining us, guys. All the best of luck for this week, and we'll catch you soon in the next one. Cheers, guys.
Yeah.